So I've recently jumped on a call with an American and he said, especially. And I'm like, why should we even learn English? Because native speakers do whatever they want. If I said especially during my English language exam, I would have gotten a lower grade. Today we're gonna talk about things that native speakers say incorrectly. And this is for you to understand that native speakers don't speak the language that's in the textbooks. Native speakers speak a different language and they make mistakes, and they're completely okay with you making those mistakes. So let's dig into those mistakes that they're making, and maybe this will give you more freedom to speak English language because you now know that native speakers make mistakes on purpose. And I also hope that this video will give you additional confidence when you speak to a native speaker, they say something that's really weird and is not like in your textbook, and you're like, oh, Marina actually taught me that. I'm fine with you making this mistake. Okay, let's get straight to the subject. By the way, it's not just especially. Some people also say espresso instead of espresso. Hello, Italians. Some people say ask versus ask questions versus ask questions. There are other things that they do. For example, let's look at the sentence, she bought a Tesla. If you were at a class in your school and your teacher asked you to create a question out of this sentence, you would say, did she buy a Tesla? But what native speakers do, they take a sentence that is a regular sentence, she bought a Tesla, and they change intonation. Oh, she bought a Tesla? And they make a question out of it. Grammatically, it's incorrect, but it is something that a lot of people do.
She bought it.
So they take a sentence, they slightly change the intonation, and actually let's look at a couple details. You can say, she bought a Tesla? And here you're emphasizing bought because maybe you assumed she was leasing it or like renting it. Like she bought a Tesla, so she actually owns it. You can also say, she bought a Tesla? Because, wow, you're so excited it's actually a Tesla because you thought it's gonna be some regular, gas car, and you're super excited that it's a Tesla. She bought a Tesla.
So she bought you a car?
Nothing changes in the sentence, just your intonation. And if you're writing the sentence, you just put a question mark in the end. And this is how native speakers create questions out of regular sentences in English. And most of the times you would use this trick to show that you were surprised about something that happened. Oh, you finally got an acceptance letter from the university? Oh wow, you scored 100 on TOEFL? By the way, it's really important that you know that some mistakes are okay and they don't change the meaning of whatever you meant, and some mistakes are not okay. The only way to know it is to make sure you learn as much as possible about the English language. And I'm really happy to introduce a course which is called From Intermediate to Advanced. It's created by me and my team at LinguaTrip. It takes 30 days, and in those 30 days, we're gonna talk about the most important topics that you need to know in English to become an advanced speaker. This is our best-selling course, and my favorite thing about this course is that we pair you with a student who's also learning English so you can practice the language together. And what we also do, we rank you based on your results as a pair, and then we have special prizes that you receive at the end of the course if you're ranking at the top. We're giving away free classes and free individual lessons with our teachers. This course has been taken by over 10,000 students, and I'm super excited to welcome you on this course. The link will be down below, and because you watch this video, you get a special promo code. Let's look at another mistake. Let's look at the sentence, why you're still working for this company? You hate it. What's wrong here? Look at the sentence. Why are you still working for this company? The second option is grammatically correct. When you're asking a WH question, why, where, when, this WH word is followed by a verb. But what native speakers sometimes do, they completely ignore this rule and put a subject on the second position in these type of sentences. I have a theory why this might be happening. So when we have embedded questions, let me give you an example. I wonder why they have called off the wedding. So here, because we start a sentence with I wonder, and we have a second part of the sentence that starts with a WH question, it is grammatically correct to have this word order. We put WH, word, and then we put a subject, and then put a verb. I wonder why they have called off the wedding. We also have the same pattern when we have reported speech. I asked what they have eaten for lunch. So in this way, it's also grammatically correct. So I think people just use that rule, but in a different situation, which makes it grammatically incorrect. Why they have called off the wedding? This is very spoken. Incorrect. The correct version, why have they called off the wedding? Just make sure that you pay attention to it, and the next time you hear somebody say a sentence in this way, you'll be like, oh, okay, in spoken English, this is correct, but I know that Marina taught me that if I'm taking a test or if I'm writing a formal essay, I should be following standard grammar rules and put words where they belong. The next mistake that native speakers make on purpose is using double negatives. The example is, I don't want to go nowhere tonight.
They can't do nothing about it.
Grammatically, it's incorrect. Double negatives are not allowed by English grammar, but still people do it. The correct version of the sentence would be, I can't go anywhere tonight. Some English dialects, though, allow double negatives, and in those dialects you will hear, it won't do no good. And in English that you learn at school, this sentence would sound like, it won't do any good. And because double negatives are okay in some dialects, more and more people are adopting them in their speech. Let's correct some sentences together so you can learn more about double negatives. Let's look at the sentence. I don't want nobody to comfort me. So this turns into, I don't want anybody to comfort me. He never says nothing interesting. He never says anything interesting. They can't do nothing about it. The right version is, they can't do anything about it, or they can do nothing about it. So you see what we're doing here? When we see a sentence with two negatives, we need to change one of the negatives to make it grammatically correct. Now, ideally, you would only use the double negatives that we just talked about in informal settings. However, there are double negatives that you can actually use in a formal setting. Let's look at an example. His victory was not unexpected. Now, this is grammatically correct. Yes, you have not and you have unexpected. But basically, what I learned, like, I love maths. So what I do, if I see a double negative and I know it's grammatically correct, like a newspaper, I would eliminate not and eliminate another negative, un. And I would get a sentence, his victory was expected. This is what the writer actually meant. People use this trick to be more cautious, because if you say like, oh, his victory was expected, then you assume everyone was expecting this victory. But if you say his victory was not unexpected, you assume that some people were expecting his victory. So it just makes your statement a little more cautious. Let's make another exercise. Let's look at this sentence. It is not uncommon for people to become ill when they travel. Now let's do my trick. Let's just eliminate all of the negatives. It's common for people to become ill when they travel. Again, saying it's common for people to get sick when they travel, I don't know, controversial. I travel a lot. I get sick sometimes, but very rarely actually. With this sentence, it's not uncommon. You're like, I'm assuming that I might be wrong. So it makes it more okay if you're not right with the statement. The next mistake is incorrect usage of who or whom. Now, who normally refers to a subject. Whom refers to an object. Let me explain this difference. I can't remember who told me this. So subject, I can't remember the subject who I heard this from. Now another sentence, whom do you believe? So the subject here is you. Whom is an object, and it is correct that you're using whom instead of who when you talk about an object. In reality though, native speakers would say, who do you believe?
Who would you believe? Who would you believe?
By the way, in a sentence, who or whom were you with? Both options are correct. Who were you with whom were you? Both are okay. Now let's practice a little bit. She is the person who or whom I met. What would you choose? Okay, if you want to sound grammatically correct, and if you're writing a formal essay, you would choose whom, because it's an object. The subject here is I. I met whom I met this person. She is a person who or whom stole my wallet. What do you choose here? The right version is who, because she is the subject who stole my wallet. Okay, let's call it a day. I hope that was useful for you guys. If you're not yet subscribed to this channel, hit the red button down below, and YouTube is gonna recommend some amazing shorts that my team and I are creating for you. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of you in the next cohort of my intermediate to advanced English language course. See you very soon. Bye-bye.